Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori and I'm your online finance guy who speaks about all matters finance, how you can be able to grow, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to improve your financial outlook. So remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment behind. So today we are going to speak about gated community homes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an important topic, especially if you are looking into owning property and investing in a home. Ladies and gentlemen, there are certain things that these gated communities do not tell you. And when you enter into these contracts, you find yourself in a fix that you cannot be able to come out of. So we're going to speak about those things that you are not told about when you are investing in a gated community. And the first thing that you are never told is that service charges are extremely high. Ladies and gentlemen, unlike a personal property that you maintain and spend money on maintenance and this and that, a gated community includes costs for many additional public spaces that are shared among neighbors, roadways and things like playgrounds and other things like that. These costs add up, ladies and gentlemen. These costs add up to a point where they can be so exorbitant. In fact, I know of a gated community where the individual bought in a home in the knowledge that they are going to save money on rent. However, the service charge was equal to 40% of the money that they would have otherwise paid on an equivalent property in rent. So ladies and gentlemen, these service charges are amounts that they never tell you about, and they might cost you to incur additional costs that you never planned for. Then the other thing is that there is a lot of restrictions on construction. So you bought a piece of land in a gated community and you desire to develop it according to your tastes and desire. You have a vision and you have a dream of the kind of house you want to build. But remember, these gated communities do not tell you, but there are specific restrictions on design and size and layout and other things on the construction of that house. So if you invest in this land in this gated community that is developing, remember that there are restrictions on the kind of designs that you need to undertake. And remember, when you are constrained by design, your budget is also constrained. Your unique vision and way of building a house is also constricted. The materials that you build your house with are also constricted. Ladies and gentlemen, your square footage is also restricted. So these are some of the things that they never tell you. So it is going to restrain you from exploring your creative potential and your desire for your own unique home. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, these designs are restricted to the point where these houses look similar and the same with one another. So you will build a house, spend a lot of money, but look like your neighbor. So you are escaping that suburb where you live so that you can be able to get a nice new home that is unique to you. But you end up in another suburb with fancier expenses in terms of service charges. So ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things they never tell you, but they usually are there. The other thing that you need to know is that there is restrictions in use. In a gated community, you may not be able to keep say for example chickens in your backyard. You may not be able to grow vegetables in your front yard. There's a lot of restrictions in use, a lot of eyes, a lot of rules that may make it impossible for you to live your own unique desire. So if you buy into this house, remember that there may be restrictions. You may not actually use your land to the full extent that you desire because of these restrictions that are set upon by the community members. So ladies and gentlemen, before you buy that gated community, do consider the use of that property. Then the other thing is there's restrictions in animals and pets. They will restrict you from keeping chickens. They might restrict you from keeping certain breeds of dogs. They might restrict you from having snakes as pets and things like that. There's a lot of restriction in these gated communities. They do not mention it in the beginning, but there are rules. And sometimes these rules have not come up, but they come up in the continuous use of this property as more and more members come up to conclusion on what should be allowed and what should not be allowed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a restriction. Then there's also the restriction on what you can be able to do as regards to third parties on your property. Some of these communities restrict people from having parties. Some of these restrictions are involved in things to do with noise and other things. Some of these rules restrict even the way you paint your pouches and things like that. These are some of the things that you may not consider. Again, some of them also restrict you from using your own property to be able to run, for example, an Airbnb if you so desire. Some of them even restrict you when you are trying to sell because they want to interview the person who is allegedly going to buy, so that they can be able to see whether this person is a good fit to this community. So these are some of the things that make it a challenge when you want to change, use, and do something new with your property. So ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things that they never tell you about. Then the other thing is, there are so many meetings that are usually held in these gated community gatherings. They have a lot of meetings as they deliberate on the way forward. They try so many other things to be able to speak about. And if you do not have time, it might be a challenge. If you do not desire to speak and interact with so many people, it might be a challenge for you. These gated communities can become a bother if this is not the kind of thing that you want to do. You don't want a lot of community involvement and discussion and all those things. Sometimes there's a lot of petty politics in the at the time that they are electing their leadership. Sometimes there's a lot of petty things that people speak about. So if these are the kind of things that bother you, if you cannot sit through a Parents Teachers Association meeting in your local school, then you will not be able to sit through a gated community meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, so ensure that you can be able to handle these meetings and you may be able to be an active participant and contributor, ladies and gentlemen. So if meetings are not your thing, consider not buying this property. Then the other thing is the cost. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, because they pride themselves in maintaining a certain standard of doing things, the properties in these gated communities are actually pricier, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're going to buy an equivalent property in the same area but not gated, it might be a lot cheaper than the one for the gated community. So sometimes these and other challenges make it difficult, especially if you're trying to invest and build a home. So I hope that you are learning. I hope that you have gleaned from what I have taught you. If you have any other reasons why you should not get a gated community, please leave the comments down below. And remember to subscribe to the channel, the red icon there, or my face up here, and like, so that this message can get to other people before they invest in their property, so that they can be able to make a wise financial decision. Thank you and enjoy your day.